This is my last video for this class, and I've learned quite a bit. So some of the biggest things were how to post a YouTube video, how to make captions, how to use the bookend technique. I've learned where to look at the camera and where to set my notes for a speech. So my favorite speech by far was my French press speech. It was also the hardest, and I spent more time on that than any of the other speeches. In that speech, I made coffee with a French press, but every time something would go wrong, it would be something like uh, spilling the water, or losing my train of thought, or saying something completely wrong. It took about 10 tries to actually get it right, and I ended up having like a gallon of coffee. So I learned how I needed to prep really extensively before I had any speech. I had to have everything that I was going to speak about with details, uh, not to the point that I was reading a script, but pretty close notes. Um, so I want to work on making my speeches more interesting. At the moment, I can give a speech, but I can't entirely guarantee that it will be interesting. I'm used to teaching or giving a speech in person to a class, but giving a video speech is much harder. So the main reason is because I can't read the audience. And that's a main skill that I developed while uh, teaching classes is reading your audience to tell, okay, am I going too far into details? Do I need to speed it up because it's not interesting? Or do I need to go over a couple of things because it didn't come across very clearly? Um, and that was just the main benefit of actually being in person. I wouldn't really have that big of an issue with stage fright or anything of the sort, but being able to read your audience gives you a lot of cues on what you need to do for the rest of your speech. So, whenever I needed help, I would speak to one of my friends, and they went through mid and took a couple of these classes a few years ago, a couple communications classes, if I remember correctly. He was able to give me a few good tips throughout the year. He was even able to fix most of the issues with reading the audience. I simply sent the speech to him, and he would give me feedbacks and tips on whether or not he understood the material, what I was trying to convey. And he would just send it back to me saying, this part doesn't make sense, and you need to fix this and redo this. And it would work just as long as I planned out in the future to have it done. But as this is my last speech for the year, I would like to say farewell to all of you and good luck with the rest of your finals.